Yo, yo, yo. What's poppin', boys? It's your king. Alright? Young, baby back ribs, no barbecue sauce. We trying hot sauce and ketchup this time. I don't know if that's gonna taste good, but I taste good, so it's gonna work out. Um, I don't got, bro. I ain't got no intro today. I literally just woke up. You could probably hear it in my voice. I just woke up. I got work in like an hour, so I gotta make this shit quick. But I just wanted to hop on this bitch and talk about what I'm gonna call the Indala incident. All right, this character right here, right? I've been using her quite a bit. All right, I've been using her quite a bit. I tried her in Fall Zero. I tried her in Horus, like Full Auto. I tried her in fucking Luo. I tried her in everything, bro. I tried her in Lindworm. I tried her in baby fall. I've tried her everywhere, bro. I've tried her everywhere, and lo and behold, what would you know? I gotta. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna pull up the wiki. I'm gonna see how many dark characters, because I did not do my research on this before. I hit record. I just got on this bitch. Can I see the release date of? Oh, here we go. Can I like? Is there a way I can sort these characters? I want release date and like element. There was a way you could like sort characters before. I don't know. Dark has had like, let me see. So we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 7, 7. Okay, yeah. If you count Tira, we've gotten 6 like normal characters. And then if I scroll down here to, and I'm gonna bring up a notepad real quick. Is my notepad gonna come up on stream? It's not, but I can do. Let me see. Let me. Here, I'll do this, and then I think I can do this. Here we go. Okay, and then I'll do that, and I'll put this up over here. Okay, so. Oh, is this gonna show up? Oh, damn, that shit's like tiny as fuck. Can I edit font on this? Let's make this shit like 36 so I can see this. Okay. Sorry, my alarm went off. So let me scroll back up. The 6 characters that Dark has gotten is Alethea, Will, Florence, Sebastian, and Chloe, and Tira, kind of. Okay. So those are the 6 characters that Dark got this year. Chloe or Tira came out on the 31st of last year, so well, 2023. Let me see this. Damn, classic draw characters are old as shit. Icon Four Saints isn't a thing anymore for Dark, and then we've gotten Orologia. That's literally it. Okay. And then we've gotten. Damn, Vika look old as fuck too. Okay, we got a Indala as well. And again, that's it. And then for Summer Yukata, we got Hakate, Halsenya. And I should probably open these characters up on the side because we got De La Phil. And I'm gonna keep these release dates in mind too because I think when a character comes out is very important as well. Halloween, we got Seder, and Tico was 2023. Holiday, we got Yggdrasil. Let me make this bigger. I wonder if that's looking like on stream. You know what? We're just gonna do. Oops. Whoops. I was prepared. We're just gonna do that. There we go. Okay. Yggdrasil. Did I do it by release date? Yeah, I did. And then Uni was 2023. And then I think that's it. I'm not gonna count collab characters like Rimuru and shit. I'm not gonna count that. Okay, so this is every character Dark has gotten in 2024 from this year, right? So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 characters, okay? And I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on each character because again it's 14 characters. This is a Indala review, not a Dark review. So if we look at, and then just to preface, I don't have like all of these characters. I have like a good chunk of them, but I don't have all of them, right? But we'll go like from top to bottom just to make this easy. Althea, he is a like hard nuking kind of skill damage reset character. Dark has a lot of these. Like Lucius, for example, got his 5-star. Same type of character, just you know, nuke reset that also nukes. Nuke again. Ogi resets cooldown for nukes. Nuke again. Like it's a very common trend with these characters. But that's kind of all they do is just like nuke. They don't really. They can debuff. They don't really do anything for the team though. Like I mean, if we're looking at Althea here, hit the defense stackable, boost the Dark Ally skill spec stackable, which is cool and all. But I mean, how many characters are doing this? If we look at this list, I mean, Althea does it. I'm pretty sure Florence does it as well. I know Kate does it. Not you, Florence. Let me look at this one. Yeah, Florence does it as well. I don't think Sebastian does. Sebastian does not do it. Okay. So, Althea, Florence, and Kate, and I think Dela Phil. Satyr as well, possibly buff skill damage. Yeah, Satyr as well. Yggdrasil, Holiday. Does not. Okay, so basically TLDR is like half these dark characters just already buff skill damage cap, or they supplement skill damage in some way, and so that buff is kind of, I'm not gonna say meaningless in the grand scheme of things, but there's just so many characters that do it already. It's like, how many characters are you gonna release that does that, that's actually like useful and beneficial, you know what I mean, that can actually do something? Because out of all these characters I just listed, the only character that's like saw actual practical use that was like semi-useful was Satyr. Whenever this raid here came out, I never remember the name of it, this raid right here, Martial Mastery Trial, this is the only time that one of the, like, Althea, Sebastian, Satyr, whatever, all those characters that except for Hecate, I think Hecate sometimes has practical use within the same raid, by the way. You could use Hecate in this raid and she was actually like pretty decent. The only time that those characters were like useful. You could use Satyr in Fall Zero and she was like pretty good. But other than that, those like skill damage cap or skill damage supplemental characters are just not, like, they haven't been good for the most part. Which takes me to my point of, you have Indala here, whose skill 1 is a very strong nuke. Whenever I was doing like Horus and other things, it was nuking for like 13 mil whenever you like double proc it with the Toxicosis at level 7. And then this skill was also doing like 15 to 20 million or something like that. I don't remember the numbers exactly, but I mean, it was doing some serious damage, really, at the detriment of you having to click it. And of course you get to double cast it because you have the Tireless Spirit effect. So really this is like 26 mil, and this is like 40-50 million, somewhere in that ballpark, off of various grids that I tried. It's like varying numbers because I tried various grids. I only changed one party. It was this party. This was the best setup that I used that was not a Mana Diver setup. Mana Diver was the fastest. I got a 422, I believe, on Horus. But the problem with Mana Diver is, one, it's really hard to Ogi loop with Mana Diver, which I'll talk about that later. And two, the class is just so broken that getting a lower time doesn't really mean very much to me comparatively to all the other classes, because the class itself is just so strong with Oskimos as well. So, I'm not going to talk too much about Mana Diver because I don't think it fully benefits what Indala wants to do anyway. And it was crazy how much faster it was and everything else. But I will say though, in this testing, I was just mostly going for like skill damage as much as possible. So I had the Fedial Spears, PNS. I was running 2 of the causality drivers originally, but then I was kind of messing around with it, and then Fedial Spine ended up being a little bit better because I was getting like 2 and 3% on Horus, and so Fedial Spine kind of fixed that. Unhail was for the Ogi because of course I'm trying to run an Ogi comp. I think if I didn't have Vikala, Uni would have been pretty good because Uni, or Holiday Uni rather, gives you 15% charge bar for Dark Allies. And then, of course, her skill 2 is like, they're all like link skills or whatever, but you know, you just have her skill 1 on. She's essentially just a battery every turn. And even her Ogi activates her skill 1. So, and it's a 1-turn cooldown. So, basically, you're getting 38% charge bar every turn because this character is going to Ogi. I think the optimal play here, if I had Uni, was you would run Vikala. Like Uni, Vikala, Indala, but I don't have Uni, so I was using Magus because she provides Toxicosis. But honestly, if you can get this character to Ogi a lot, you end up stacking Toxicosis like really fast. It's really, you get it by like turn 3 if you can Ogi 3 times, because you just like skill 1, which gives Toxicosis, you Ogi, skill 1, and then you Ogi again, then skill 1, and then that's like 6 stacks of Toxicosis, so you'd be missing 1. So you need 4 turns to stack it up, as opposed to currently what I was doing, it would be skill 1, plus Magus 2, would do 3 stacks, and then she'd Ogi turn 2, you'd skill 1, and it'd be 5 stacks, and then she would have Ogi turn 2, so then this will put you at 6 stacks. And then depending on the setup, like if I was using Kengo, you could get it turn 3, but I'm running Rising Force and I wasn't manualing, so I didn't use Mosh Pit. I was using Fever Pitch to give like uplift. And depending on like team's multi-attack rate and stuff like that, sometimes you can get Toxicosis on turn 3, sometimes it will be turn 4. And I think too as well, it would be easier maybe if I called Hades, because I was calling Zariel for the battery. Because at least in this Rising Force setup, there's no other way that I was getting charge bar, because this consumes 30% of all ally charge bar. So that was something to keep in mind as well. So in terms of like what this character wants to do, is she just wants to Ogi to reset her skills, because her skills is her damage, not her Ogi. Her Ogi doesn't even do damage like that. It's purely out of these 2 skills. Even though, and especially because the skill 3 amplifies skill damage, boosts skill damage, gives you skill damage cap. So skill damage is her thing. Her skill 1 and skill 2 is where all her damage is coming from. So with that being said, you want her to Ogi again because it resets it, and then that makes things difficult, because when I was running Kengo, and these times are skewed because I was like on mobile, and I was on mobile and shit, and I did not I was at work. But this was Kengo, right? No, this was Rising Force. So this was 524. This should have been like 450, but I joined like hella late, like 30 seconds late. So there should have been like a 450. But I timed it whenever I actually got into the raid. So this one was okay. I think Mana Diver, I think I said it was a 424, I believe is what I got, or 434, one of those 2. But yeah, this one would have been a 450, which isn't too bad. But as you can see, she's clicking like a fuck ton of skills. she still got out damaged by Magus, almost got out damaged by MC, and of course Vikul is just there for battery, so that was something to keep in mind as well. This one was Kengo. This one was slow as fuck, because I joined like a minute late, so it should have been like 5:48, which is still slow. But at least in Kengo, because you're Ogi looping all the time, she's resetting her skills every turn, so she's clicking more skills, so she's doing the most damage. Whereas in all the other setups I tried, she's not always Ogiing every turn, so she's not getting her skill reset every turn. So she has some dead turns where she's only doing like 5 million, 10 million damage in autos. So that was something to keep in mind as well, where I noticed that if you're just Ogi looping, you're sitting there in Ogi animation the entire time on full auto. It's different for manual, but for full auto, you're Ogiing the entire time, so that's long as fuck. And then you're sitting through all those skill animations the entire time, which is all her damage, so you have to sit through it. And then, if you aren't Ogiing every turn, you're not getting her skill reset every turn, so she's not doing damage every turn. She's buffing your other team's, like, skill damage, but, like, at that point, it's a choice between, do I buff, like, I mean, you have to buff your team with skill 3 because you get the reset or whatever, but it's like you lose value out of that skill because you're either running characters like Vikala and Kengo to battery her so that she can do damage, or you're running shit like Rising Force and I was fiddling around with like Magus, or even if you're running like who Uni doesn't do skill damage like that, and it's like they don't benefit from the skill that much. But you're trading, am I battering Indala for her to do damage, or am I sacrificing Indala doing damage to buff the other units to do skill damage? Because that's the only like thing that she's giving, is she's giving skill damage amp and damage cap up with skill 3, and she is giving supplemental skill damage and attack and defense down with this shit. So that she's just buffing your team skill damage. Like that's all she provides to the team. And I guess she's giving charge bar, which is, again, whatever, because you could run literally like Uni or anybody else to give charge bar. This is whatever. And so it's crazy because she does not do enough damage to warrant you battering her. As you've seen with the Kengo timing, she does not do enough damage to warrant her battering her and having her be the DPS carry, but she also does not give adequate buffs to the team to make it worth not just running like Ray and Mana Diver. Or even if I was using Rising Force, just using like Rising Force and putting Ray here and just having my MC be like a fucking super DPS. I would just like kill this, put in a second one of this, and then I would just like, I'd be cooking, right? But and also I'm using Extremity, not Sagacity, because I don't have I did like one Fa 0 run and I fucking, that shit failed because I could not carry with Indala. It was crazy. That shit was rough. But yeah, if I had Sagacity key, these sounds would be so much faster. But yeah, even this weapon, right? It buffs sword and bow. And even when I was running Kengo, having this like CS supplement shit, like for her and MC, was not enough. Like this shit is like purely for her, to the point where like it's not even worth it. I'm gonna try like different weapons and stuff. I did try something else and it wasn't really that different, because at least on Horus and like Windworm, you kill in the same amount of turns anyway, so it doesn't really like matter too much. But yeah, TLDR. I don't even know what I'm gonna title this section. I guess I'll title it like Indala Mechanics, because mechanically speaking, she's clunky and just doesn't. I'm not gonna say she doesn't work, but it's difficult to make her work because she's a downgrade. And if you look at all these other dark units, all of these dark units besides Orologia and Sidala are downgrades, and situationally Satyr. They're all downgrades. Magus is pretty good for like Cosmos full auto, so I won't take that away from her. She's not a downgrade there. But in the general sphere of Granblue Fantasy and like raids you do, Guild War, Arcarum, all this shit, all these characters are a downgrade. You will never use any of these characters in any scenario besides like maybe Orologia. Well, no, definitely Orologia, Sidala, Satyr. Those three for sure. If you have all the dark units, you're never gonna use any of those characters over like Bowman, Ilsa, Seox, I mean, situationally, like Fedial, uh, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's dark. Bowman 6, Ilsa, Fedial. And I guess Ray too. Ray is disgusting with those emos. So yeah, those 5 characters. And even then, now Orologia has become a staple in like Hexa and Fa Zero. So now that character slot is like pretty locked because it gives you a bunch of damage and it just juices your MC. So now you have for hard level content or high level content, Fedial and Oro are basically locked. I mean, the only thing I'm not sure about is Hexa, but yeah, even Hexa, I'm using Fedial and Oro. The flex slot is this slot where you can run Near, and even then Near dies to bring in Ray. In Fa Zero, it's the same thing. Fedial, Oro, Ray. Sub HL is the same shit. I don't even know if I have a dark sub HL one. This was my old full auto one, cause I was full autoing with this. But even then, it's like, come on, bruh. I just don't know, bro. I don't know. Even this shit, I was like, I don't know why Seedala's here. Maybe I was like Ray 2ing out the Seedala and then like killing her to bring out Ray. And then like bring out S Alex, kill S Alex to. I think that's what I was doing. Some shit like that. It was weird. But yeah. Basically, you run Oro Fed in high level plus a flex slot. Recently it's just been Ray. So, I mean, if you're running Zotimos, that's not flexible. And if you're running her in any type of, like, burst content, that shit is, like, not flexible either, because you're running Seedala, Ilsa, Seox, or Seedala, Ilsa, Bowman. There's no, like, it's every party. I mean, this is my Bahamut high level, or not Bahamut high level, my ultimate Bahamut full auto. It's like 3 minutes. There's probably a faster one, but I like using this one because it's cute. But like again, like the burst setups are like all the same characters, like because there's just no flex. It's just they're optimal. And even if you're playing for fun, sometimes you can't even like play it for fun because like, what is Indala gonna do in a burst situation? Like you're not if you're trying to farm Bahamut high level for example. I think this is my Bahamut high level team. Yeah, this is my Bahamut. So even if you're like doing Bahamut high level, it doesn't matter because if you kill Seox, she's not doing. I mean, maybe I can just fucking do it real quick. I have that auto pick shit on. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. But anyway, yeah, it's not worth it. She doesn't do auto damage like that. She's not gonna Ogi, so that shit's like not gonna be worth it. The grids aren't built for Ogi. They're built for auto because all these characters auto because that's what's fast and efficient. And it's just there's no real room for her, and that's the whole thing with these characters. Is like, sure, if you didn't have like when like Fa Zero first came out. I wonder if I have an old party. I don't. I think this was like an old Fa Zero party. I think. Well, no, I'm using Mist. I don't even fucking know, bro. People were using shit like Fairy and Ilsa and Magus. Or not Magus, Magisa, sorry, Magisa. Well, people were using Magus as well, but she was a little bit clunky. But people were like using all these tools like that. So back when there was more flex slots before Orologia and before Orologia came out, putting Ray on Zosimos wasn't that great. So Ray's slot was also like out of the picture. So you were using like Fed Lich +1, or like Fed Magisa +1, or you would even sometimes use like Seox, for example. So characters like De La Phil and Yggdrasil were actually really good for like your sustain unit outside of Fedial. Because currently your sustain unit outside of Fedial is Orologia because of the passive, the full heal passive with the defense buff. But outside of that, like Yggdrasil and De La Phil were really good for keeping your team alive and like providing echo and stuff for a lot of the omens. But I mean, after Orologia came out, like this character's dead, this character's dead. Situationally dead. I think she might be used in speedruns, but I know in the speedruns they use Aresh, so I don't see why you would use Magus in a Aresh comp, so I'm gonna say this character is dead. Halicena, I don't even know what that character does, because I've never seen anybody use that character. I can look it up here. Halicena Summer. Okay, so she gives herself... Upon dodging, 100% boost to Halesena's charge bar, takes no damage or debuff while in effect. activates, gets splattered. So she basically debuffs multi-attack rate and defense down. She gives herself Ogi. When she Ogi, she gives allies hype. So she's a hype generator. And then she gets these stacks from charge attacking, and then you can use her skill 3, which has a 16 turn cooldown, to give all allies 100% dark charge bar. So, I mean, again, another character that's just like, the ramp is so crazy, and by the time you fucking do all this ramping and skill clicking and all this stuff, you could have been killed the boss or been like halfway through the boss with a completely different team. And I think we're just at that point in Granblue where they're not power creeping every character, and I like that, by the way. I like when they don't power creep, because that's why I quit like HSR and Genshin and shit like that. You get a whole new power creep every like fucking 6 to 18 weeks. I'm spending $200 to get a character that is gonna get benched in like 1 to 3 months. I'm not kidding. It's crazy. Like fucking like Sela, for example. When Sela came out on release, got benched like by fucking I don't know who came after her, like Jing Liu or Kafka or Blade. I think it was Kafka. And I'm not gonna say she got benched because you could still use 2 teams and there weren't a ton of characters by then. But point being, someone's better is just gonna come out like soon. So what's the point of like investing, right? And Dark's kind of been in that position where Ilsa came out, what, 2023? Ilsa came out March 31st, 2023. We are still using this character. It's been almost 2 years. She's been meta since she came out. She's meta now, right? So, which is fine, right? It's fine. I don't mind that. Same shit with like Fire and Percival, right? If you go to Percival here, Percival came out September 30th, 2022. Character's meta in high level. He's meta in burst. Character's meta everywhere. I don't think anybody's complaining about that, because nobody wants to sit here and spark a new character every month to every other month to try to keep up with their element. It's too much. And so they have to throw in these characters that are like situation, like you can situationally use them if you're missing like the big dogs, and they're good in those situations. But if you have the big dogs, they're just like for fun characters, like, oh, I want to use Delafil for fun, right? Which I'm gonna talk about that too. Even if you use Delafil for fun, it's difficult because to cycle some of her skills in Fa-Zero nowadays, Fa-Zero is so much faster now than it was before, it would be difficult to cycle some of her skills. But that's just neither here nor there. But I say all that to say, right? Why are we making the Zodiac another one of those characters? This character has no usage anywhere. I mean, at least you could be like, oh, well, Delafil provides Echo and she heals and gives like, what the fuck is it, Mirror Image? Or some shit like that? Let me see. She gives everybody Echo, so that carries the hit labor over. She gives all allies 10% charge bar. Removes a debuff from dark allies. She heals. She gives a shield. All allies get charge bar gains boosted. Elemental damage from foes is converted to light damage. Recover HP on a 5 out of 12 turned up time. Like, she has some usage. She bumps like her multi-attack rate and stuff, so you don't have to go so hard for like TA and grid, etc, etc. But like, this is all useful within the realm of Fa-Zero. Like, she buffs herself with 35% TA and max stacks. She buffs her own healing specs and defense up, so you don't have to go so defensive on grid. And also, because she's going to heal your team, you don't have to go so defensive, so you can, like, worry more on dealing damage with, like, MC and, like, Fedio, blah, blah, blah. Like, that character has, like, a role to play in that raid. Indala does not have that. She's not providing Echo, so you're not doing hits. She wants to Ogi so she can do her shit, right? But even then, like, if you're Oging all the time, you're gonna be so slow comparatively to everyone else that's, like, speed running that raid. You're not gonna have time to get your skills and shit back up and, like, to clear your omens. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Because you would need to run a character that can battery her properly to cycle her shit efficiently, so you're not sitting here like, oh, well, you know, I just autoed 2 turns in a row, and now I can't Ogi because I already used my skill 3. Damn, I gotta do 4 CA next turn. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You're gonna, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so, even if you're like, well, Aku, well, see, you know, Indala, her skill 2 does 8 hits at 7 Toxicosis, and, you know, she can double cast, so that's gonna be 16 hits and then plus 2 here. Like, bro, dog, I'm not trying to do all that. I could click fucking De La Phil. I get De La Phil Ogi. Boom. That already gives my party like 4 additional hits plus like split autos plus all this other shit plus multi attacks. I already covered that. Already covered it. And yes, like, sure, this would, in the grand scheme of things, do more damage, but again, you're taking, like, click. 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 By that time, Fire Player has already Percival 3% at the boss, and then fucking autoed and did 2% to the boss. They already took off, like, 5% of the boss's HP in that time frame. Maybe not 5, probably like 4%, like 3 to 4% probably. But regardless, that shit's too slow. And for what gain? Because she's not even providing anything for the team. She's just really selfish. And it's crazy because when you look at a character, and again, I'm using Ilsa as an example because Ilsa's the only character in Dark that we've gotten recently that's not just blatantly selfish besides like Indala, right? Because Indala provides the supplement damage taken debuff, which helps the team out. But even then, this character is like pretty selfish in her own right. But Ilsa is not selfish with her skill 1. She's not selfish at all. Granted, that is the only thing she's not selfish with, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, this skill has so much value to the party that it's just, you cannot not run that character in, like, a lot of situations. And so, that's where we run into Indala. She's not good on her own. Even when you funnel into her selfishness, she's not up to snuff. If you try to use her to support the team, her support capabilities are not up to snuff. You can just run, like, fucking Ray, or literally any other character. Maybe not literally any other character, but like even like Tira, I feel like will be better. Tira will be better. Sator's better. Hakate's better. If you're gonna go click a shit ton of skills, just go play Hakate. Go play Hakate. Like I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. And then you like just end up in this scenario where it's like, again, well, I'm gonna use Indala because I just want to use Indala and she's fun. I would argue you almost can't use Indala. You'd have to go in like a lower level lobby of like a high level raid, especially Hexa, right? The amount of fucking dickheads, myself included, alright, that speed run that raid, and you're like, please slow down. I need to get my 000 up for the 2,015,000 hit whatever bullshit at 50%. Nobody gives a fuck about you, especially in co-op. No one gives a fuck about you. You're sitting here fucking, oh, I gotta get my skill 1 out. Okay. Got my Toxicosis up. I gotta get my skill 2 up. I gotta get my Toxicosis level 7 before, like, you know, 60%, so I can do some of that 2,015,000 hit whatever. Like, dog, you're not gonna have time. You're not gonna. These are salarymen. Shit, I gotta go to work in an hour. I'm not trying to be here fucking clicking skills all day, taking all this time all day. So then you factor like all this stuff in. The character just like does not work. You gotta like just be in slower lobbies to pull it off, and even then you're doing subpar just to use the character, which is fine. You know, not everybody has to be a sweat. Not everybody has to like be efficient with their time. Sometimes you want to use your time to not be efficient in a raid to have fun. That's perfectly fine. But even in those scenarios where you want to have fun, it couldn't be fun because the character just mechanically doesn't function very well. Her Ogies are shit, but she wants to Ogie, so she gets her skills up. Her skills are great, but it takes a fuck ton of time to double cast them. And I don't know. I just don't know. And you think, like, again, you can't even use her for, like, full auto and, like, a lot of these other raids. Like, you could, but why would you? Like, why would you do that? You could use her in Luminera full auto, but, like, why? I mean, if you're not done with this raid anyway, like, what are you doing? You're probably newer to the game, and maybe if you're newer to the game, you don't have every Dark character, but you do have Indala, because, you know, New Year's just happened. Cool. We talked about that. That's fine. If you don't have every character, you have these characters to fill in. And then, again, why is my Zodiac doing that? When you look at, like, Earthsea Dollar, right? Earthsea Dollar was meta for a long, like, at least a year when she came out, right? If I can find her. This character was meta for at least a year because she had Assassin on turn 2. She debuffs for the party, right? And she provides all sub for the party, so she get, like, tank triggers and shit, right? So when you factor that in, you know, she does some stuff for the party, much like Indala, except in her case, her selfishness is so rewarded by her high damage output and her like utility, and then she even like gives like buffs to like crazy buffs to herself, crazy debuffs to the boss. More than just this, like her selfishness is paid out because she has the tools to back it up. Indala does not have the numbers currently to back it up, whether it's charge bar gain speed or her nukes need to do literally like 30-40 million every click, like shit like that. Like she doesn't have the numbers to back it up comparatively to Indala. And she like, you can like pass through triggers with this, you can do debuff labors with this, you can buff yourself to give like CA reacts, you can do like 5 CA shit, you could do so much stuff with this character. And it was especially more useful back then than it is now. But this character, even today, this character is still good. You can still use this character in a lot of content, if not all content, and still be like good. But she's currently like one of those units where it's like, damn, you know, maybe I'm missing, you know, Galleon, or I'm missing I don't even know, Narumea, so I'm going to use this character for my assassin unit, or I'm going to use this character to like debuff and shit. Like that's kind of where Seattle is at the moment. She's like a filler unit if you don't have your good units. Then you look at Dragon, right? You look at Dragon, and this character does fucking everything. She does damage, she has fucking party-wide buffs, she has fucking all sub, gives party double strike. Like, this character does everything, bro. She does everything. She gives herself assassin. She fucking gives herself defense boost to attack, normal attack damage amp. She always does TA. She fucking, again, assassin. She gives herself her own charge bar because she doesn't get it on normal attacks from normal attacks. So when water ally double strikes, she gets it on fucking from her passive. You can easily couple that with like Europa skill 4 occasionally. You can couple it with Mana Diver, Wild Magicka. There's a few things you could do to give her a charge bar, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, her skill 3 funnels into this skill itself. So you have all, like, these party buffs. And what does she give to the party, right? Normal attack damage amp. Normal attack and CA damage dealt is partially absorbed, so drain, basically. Damage taken is lowered by a fixed amount. I don't think that's damage mitigation. I think that's just, like, you lower your damage by a fixed amount. And then fucking, what's that shit called? Dispel cancel. That is crazy. That is crazy. And then she funnels herself into her own assassin, right? It's crazy. This character is disgusting. And she's 4-star. She hasn't even gotten her 5-star yet. And that's another thing to bring up. See, Dala's 5-star is coming out in like 20-something days, right? So now this character is probably going to be relevant again. I'm just pointing out this character is probably going to be relevant again. And again, this character could only be relevant because she actually was good before her 5-star. Whereas a character like Vikala, right? When Vikala came out in what, 2019? I think 2019. This character was very good for her skill 3. And, you know, her skill 2 giving hype was pretty good because back then, you know, grids were not as strong. So giving hype to your party allowed you to go a little bit more defensive on your grid while also doing a shit ton of damage still. So she was decent. But then they gave her the skill 4, which wasn't ever really, like, that great. Like, you dodge all and you, like, attack twice per turn with, like, a 12-turn cooldown. She was also very good for her dispels and stuff. And you give, you know, she could do TA guaranteed. You give allies hype upon her charge attack and dispel cancel. And then nowadays, like, she heals and gives dispel cancel and, like, you know, all this type of stuff. But that's not really what Dark needs nowadays. So this character is, in turn, not that great nowadays because she doesn't provide what Dark needs for the element. Even with Indala, right? Giving Vikala 3 to the party for charge bar gain to funnel into her charge bar loop doesn't even work like that because Magus doesn't give bar to the party. Vikala gives charge bar gain to the party. Indala gives charge bar to the party, but again, you have to somehow loop her to get the Ogi off for her to click that skill. But she's not someone like, for example, Raphael, right? Where her shit is so juiced, right? You're giving charge bar gain to the party, and you're giving like charge bar like at the end of turn to the party, and you're giving yourself CA react to help like funnel charge attacks and shit. On top of Like Cow, right? When you're pairing with Cow, Cow is giving, like, all these characters are giving charge bar, they're giving charge bar boost up. You can loop the Ogi shit. Like, you're getting all this stuff to help you loop into your Ogi, to funnel into your Ogi, which buffs your skills and resets your skills to help, like, loop, 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 loop. Indala wants to loop, 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 loop. You can't do it. You would have to use, like, Vikala, Indala, and Uni. That you would have to. If to avoid playing Kengo, which Kengo is shit, you would have to use Uni, which Uni is shit. Because even then you'd be forcing yourself into Rising Force, because Rising Force is the best class you could use to do this, right? And unless you use, like, Mana Diver or whatever the fuck, which even then, I'm not even sure if you could loop with Mana Diver, we talked about that. You got Secret Triad to give yourself 30% or more charge bar, especially with Vikala 3, but even then, it's like, you're just running through so many hoops and loops and shit, and it's just for, like, no benefit, right? And then, even if you, like, rebalance this character, right? Like, what would you rebalance about it? Well, maybe instead of recasting damage skills, which again, shout out AJT, that's my boy. Medusa was cooked by this same shit, except for Medusa, right? It was worse, which I just got that. I've never even used this character. I just saw other people use her because I literally just got her. It was worse for Medusa because, you have to use Primal Allies to do this shit. So now you're forced to run shitty characters, like, you're forced to, right? Indala, you can maybe get away with it. Like, you can get away with it manually, right? By, like, calling, like in this party I was using. And this one, I could just cook Bubs, right? And then I could just run double Sariel, right? And then boom, bada boom, I fucking got, like, so much battery that I could run. Shit, I could even run 3 Sariel if I wanted to. But, like, why am I doing that to battery a character when other, like, I don't want to compare her to other elements, but I'm just saying, like, wind does not have to do that. Water does not have to do that. Even, earth does not have to do that. If you're playing Earth Onmyoji, like, this setup, you don't have to do that. Alex is giving, what was it, 10% charge bar on her skill 3? Yeah. 10% charge bar. This weapon gives you charge bar gain up, right? So it helps you, like, loop and shit. I think this character gives you charge bar too, or she buffs her own charge bar. And then, yeah, at the end of turn, 15% boosted. So you're getting 15%, well, more than 15%, because the weapon gives you charge bar gain boost. So you're getting more than 15%, and then more than 10%. And then, I'm pretty sure Onmyoji gives you, like, some type of, like, charge bar. 10% boosted charge bar upon skill usage. So yeah, you get that shit too. And then you also have this that boosts charge bar and gives uplift. So you have the uplift on top of her skill 1 giving you charge bar, on top of her skill 3 giving you charge bar. It's crazy. It's crazy. On top of, like, a backup Uriel if you really need it, and then a T0 if you really need it. Octo gets double charge bar gain already. So, like, and then you can distribute charge bar if you need to, if your team is, like, missing charge bar. You have so many ways to loop on, like, all these other elements. And then Dark is like, okay, well, we're gonna give you this character that wants to loop Ogi so she can reset her skills so she can, like, do damage. But we're not gonna give you a way to loop her shit unless you have this specific character, which is fine. That's fine, you know. Maybe I'll go Annie takes Uni to try to make this character, like, quote unquote viable. But at that point, it's not even viable. It's just, like, functional. It's literally just make the character functional, right? And so, after all of that, right? After saying all that, after, you know, talking about how, like, what this character wants to do, how she wants to work, what she needs to work, what you want to use her in, what you can use her in, why you can't use her in it, why you don't want to use her in it, what makes her so bad comparatively to other characters, right? After all of this conversation, right? Where do we go from here, right? How do we fix this character? Well, I'm just gonna go out and say it. I'm fucking stupid, right? I top 2K fucking every element, and I've done it numerous times, right? Sure, okay. You could argue I'm a gamer, right? Which, that's semi-irrelevant, but I'm just gonna say it's relevant here because to be efficient in this game, right? You don't have to You don't have to be good to be efficient, right? And you don't have to be. Well, no, you do have to be efficient to be good, but you don't have to be good to be efficient. You can just like go look at like some JP streamer, right? Like Kuatoro or like Mecha U and like for Water Guild War and shit like that. And it's like, okay, I'm not good at the game, but I can copy what they're doing because they're good at the game and they're good and efficient. But I can copy them while I'm not being good, and I can become more efficient because they're being good and efficient. So if I just do what they're doing, it makes me more efficient by proxy. And so that's where I'm at, right? I'm not gonna say I'm good at the game, but I'm efficient when I do like yoink from other people's shit. Like, yoink, give me that, right? So with that being said, I'm not the best person to be like, yo, what would you do to fix this character? Because I don't know, all right? I don't know. I just know what doesn't work about her, and I know like what Dark like would want. Dark wants an assassin unit, by the way. I'm just gonna go out and say we want an assassin unit. We don't. I think our only good assassin unit, quote unquote good, is Naramaya, maybe. But then when you have like Predator and Tira, I think Tira's pretty decent as well. If she even gets assassin, I'm pretty sure she gets assassin. But like we don't really use any of those characters. But even then, what does this character want to perform? I would say remove the recast damage skills and debuff skills once each turn that they were cast. I would just say change this passive to, instead of it, make it activate like 4 times or something. Like give her a different passive altogether here. Like don't make this recast. Make this activate 4 times. And then make this activate, instead of like the hit numbers doubling, double the hit numbers at like 4 Toxicosis, and then at 7 Toxicosis, activate twice. Same with this one. At 4 Toxicosis, activate twice. At 7, activate twice again. So 4 times. Right? I think that would be like a starting point. Because that cuts back on 2 clicks. So that makes her a lot faster. I would also say add charge bar gain to this shit. Like, I think the reason that they didn't add like a unique charge bar gain to this is because Hades already gives charge bar gain, right? And if we go to Hades here, Hades charge bar gain is 20%, which is actually pretty good for 3 turns. You can run double Hades. It's a 7-turn cooldown, so you could call Hades 1, 2, 3, call Hades 1, 2, 3. Now you're missing a turn, right? But you could probably just call like Sariel or something, like some other type of battery summon, to fill that gap, or call Bahamut. Bahamut will fix that issue within that turn 2, 3, 5, and 6. That'll bring the Hades cooldown down. So boom, now you have like perma 20% charge bar up on top of her charge bar up, right? So you don't have to run Vikala. So now you can like kick Vikala, right? Now you can run a more useful character, because her skill 3 should buff skill amp, skill damage, and like cap, and give you charge bar gain, and boost charge bar damage, and give you charge bar damage cap, or supplement charge bar damage. Either one. I think that's perfectly fine, because again, when you look at like fucking Dragon, right, she's doing fucking everything for the team. Not to like say that in a salty manner, I'm just saying like they were comfortable doing that with Dragon, but they were for some reason not comfortable doing that with Indala. Which tends to be a Cygames thingy, by the way. Cygames releases a fucking broken character and like, well, we don't want to do that again. Look at Percival. They dropped Percival. No other character just outright gets the tag team. No other character gets that shit anymore. Yachima, you have to take at least 4 turns. At least. In an optimal environment to get that tag team. Anilla, like Water Anilla, you have to get 5 stacks to pop that tag team. There's no other way around it. So they will drop a broken character and then they will backtrack and they will not do that shit again. And likewise, like I'll use Medusa as an example again. They'll drop a character that's fucking clunky and doesn't work, and then they'll be like, oh well, let's just go ahead and remove all those restrictions, because even when that character did get through all those hoops and they were able to do that, they weren't that broken. So let's just go ahead and remove all those hoops and then bada bing bada boom, put it on another character, right? So that is what brings you with this shit, right? And even like Darksader didn't have like a hard primal requirement, so they learned that from Medusa as well. So Cygames is notorious for doing that. So I think having this passive moved up to these skills and changing the Toxicosis values would be perfectly fine. I think the only issue with that is if you can't double cast like off rip, it would be difficult because like you double cast turn 1 to get 2 stacks of Toxicosis, and then you Ogi and you double cast again to get 4 stacks. You'd have to do something to make that that Toxicosis work. I mean, shit, maybe raise it by 2. Maybe you raise it by 2. That way you use this skill, right? It's at level 2. You Ogi, you use the skill again because it reset. Now Toxicosis is at level 4. So now you get the activate twice bonus, and then you also get the hit number doubled bonus on this as well. Then you Ogi for a 3rd time, so now you get 8 stacks when you Ogi and you click this. Now it's at 8 stacks, so now you're at the Toxicosis level 7, where this is activating 4 times. This is getting its hit number doubled and activates twice. And I think you also could possibly, if you don't want to add the charge bar gain up on this, make this shit 15%. I think making this 15% is fine, because Uni already buffs it by 15%, and her Ogi gives you 15%, so I think making this 15 is also fine. Because in the grand scheme of things, even if you paired this character with Uni's giving you 30%, or more, because, you know, Hades, plus, like, if you're running with Collar or something, that gives you 30%, and then this gives you 20, so that's already 50. I think giving them 60% would not make or break, like, anything, in my opinion. But I think that would help. Again, adding the CA buffs to this so that Oging with these characters does not feel as shit. Because Oging with these dark characters feels like dog shit. When a dark ally uses a skill that raises foe's Toxicosis level, raise foe's snake bit. This is fine. You could leave this as is. I honestly think that this should be like remove all buffs, not just 5 turn cut. I think it should just remove all buffs. But I think this is a fine passive. That's how I would like quote unquote fix her. I also don't know. I wasn't looking what this skilled up buff gives you, but I mean this skilled up buff should like probably go to the party. Like raise party skilled up buff by 1, and then like reset party skilled up to proc Tireless Spirit effect. I also think Tireless Spirit effect should fucking like be party wide and like give your party something. But it's like a buff that you have to manage through her Ogi, because that would make it valuable to Ogi, because like now you have to manage his buff. That's what I would do. Even then, again, Oging feels like shit. I don't want every element to be like, oh, this, like every element can Ogi loop and every element can like burst and shit. They kind of like design themselves into that hole by giving every element like PNS and Exalto and Reactor and Penny Staff. Like every element's like getting this type of stuff. So, and we're like, you're gonna have to give every element everything at some point. You're gonna run out of like creative ideas, and then you're gonna not end up making characters like this, where like, oh, you know, I want to collect the Zodiacs, but you never actually use them. She has no usage. So that's how I would quote unquote fix her. That's just one idea of many. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section, how you would fix Indala. She just came out, so her 5-star, we're getting Dragon 5-star next year in 2026, and in 2027, this character would get her 5-star. So, we're a while away from that, so it would have to be via rebalance, or this character just would not see any usage. So, TLDR. I guess that kind of was a TLDR, but I guess I'll recap again. This character has, like, no usage in any raid. You could possibly... Well, you could make her work in, like, high-level raids or, like, full autoing, like, your daily raids. But it doesn't make sense to, because even if you were to do that, manualing is fine. You could kind of get away with her shit manualing, like, in high-level. But some of these raids, like Hexa, things move too quickly for you to even make great usage out of her kit. And even if they do move slower, like Fa Zero, other characters provide so much more utility. And even if you were using this character for fun because you wanted to use her, she's still pretty clunky. Like, you would have to run stuff like, cause you pretty much have to use, like, fucking Zosimos, right? You would have to, like, call your Sariel. You'd probably, like, maybe have to kick, like, Lucifer or something, or, like, kick, like, Grand Order or something for, like, another type of, like, battery. Like for Bahamut, for example, so you could do that charge bar gain up thingy I was talking about. But even then, you're not going to be Oging every turn, because, like, this boss has so many, like, deal 40 hits, deal 66 hits, deal 99 hits. You have so many of that where Indala herself does not even give like echo to anybody, even herself. So doing hits becomes harder. So you're forced to do the like hit shit through her skills as well to like circumvent that. But again, you have to Ogi to do that, so you have to like line that shit up, which makes it harder to pilot. Because not any type of shade to any type of people, but the people that would want to use Indala for fun are either like diehard dark loyalists. I can't speak dark loyalists that are comfortable like with the raid and comfortable with their element enough to where they could set that type of shit up, or people that don't really do these high level type of raids that much because they're like more casual at the game and they don't take the game as seriously, and or maybe they just don't understand the raid that well, but they only have Indala, and so they may not know how to like cycle their skills properly and like do all that type of stuff and be efficient with the character to pull that off. So that just makes things even more difficult. It may even discourage some people from like learning the raid because it's like, oh, you know, I'm using like my Zodiac and it's just like not enough. This raid is too hard. You know, I'll come again like in like a month or two, which I feel like is kind of like fucked up. But I guess we did talk about like De La Phil makes that raid pretty easy. Satyr, Yggdrasil, like they're all pretty good for that raid. So that's a thing. But even Florence gives you like a lot of defense buff in the back row, so that's something to consider as well. But yeah, it's just I don't know. And the character is phenomenal. Like the design, phenomenal. Voice lines, phenomenal. I love this character. I don't even like this second art that much actually. I think I like the first art better. I do like the first art better. But that's fine. Feet? Feet? Oh, they're not exposed. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I don't that's my rant. The Indala incident. Cygames has done it again. Dark has gotten fucking shafted time and time again, which is fine. I think I was on Twitter, right? And I saw, do I name drop? I could name drop. Damn, what is their name? Hold on a minute. Let me find their name. Listen, I'm gonna say their name, and they're gonna be like, "How could you forget me?" Listen, all right, listen. It's not my fault. Where the fuck are they in this server? Oh, I can't see their name, cause I'm streaming or I have my shit open. Areshka Gall's wife. They'll know who I'm talking. Somebody will know who I'm referring to, and they can tell me. But yeah, that person tweeted and like a copy pasta about Dark. And then one of my old friends, Tran, like the Wind Main. Well, I guess I don't know if he's the Wind Main anymore. We haven't talked in a long time because I've been like busy and like closed off from a lot of people for some reason. But he like commented about Dark has been like a solid element like throughout the times, which is true. I think the only era where Dark was like disgusting was like Hades with like Vagabond and Gisela and shit, and like Majestas, because you just never die. You could perma play low HP. You get a disgusting midi boost. You're like doing disgusting skill damage with like Kalulu and shit. Speed running the boss. Like that was when Dark was broken. Like when Baby Fa came out, and when Kalulu came out this fall, and when Kalulu came out, and you were like soldier speedrunning bomb at high level for MVP. That's when Dark was like the most disgusting it's ever been, in my opinion. That was like what, like 2019, 2018, something like that, somewhere in that time frame. Dark was fucking disgusting. After that, Dark's kind of fallen off, but Dark has consistently been like, I would argue, like 2, 3, and 4. I don't think Dark is outside of high level. High level, after like that fucking high of being like Dark Rapture, like Baby Fall MVP, bro, fell off a cliff. Fucking, you were running Imposter, Dark, and Sub HL. In Hexa, no one gave a fuck about you. Things got a little better, like when, like in the Hexa era, and then Fa Zero came out. No one gave a fuck about you. Fucking, my crew cleared. I don't know if we were world first or world second on clearing Fa Zero. I think we were the world first English-speaking crew to clear Fa Zero. But we did that shit with double wind. We just said, fuck Dark, right? I mean, the element was shit. until we got Orologia. That's when like Dark high level was like actually like good again. Make Dark great again. You heard it here first. Um, but yeah, that he tweeted that, and it made me think like, yeah, Dark really outside of high level has always been like consistent. Like especially like with Aresh and stuff, and like bursting wise, it's been like number 2, 3, or 4 consistently. Um, and then high level nowadays, where would I put Dark? I mean, I would say Dark is like number 5 or 6 in terms of speedrunning and in terms of like just generally playing the element. I think it's pretty brain dead, but like if you somehow fuck up one thing in Dark, somehow it's really hard to recover in like Fall Zero or like Hexa. Um, I would say Dark is still like the worst, if not second worst element for high level, especially in Hexa, because like elements like light and water and shit, you can push through like having a pearl missing. Like if somebody didn't clear their pearl, you can still push through that shit with like those elements. But or even fire too with Higurashi, you can do it with fire as well. You can do it with earth situationally, because they have so much like just raw damage mitigation and like element conversion and all that type of stuff. You could do that. Dark has element conversion and stuff, but you're not running those units in those raids. And so I would argue that Dark is like the worst or second worst in high level, even after all the buffs and stuff that we've gotten. I mean, water is phenomenal. Earth is earth in high level. You can just really speedrun with that shit. I don't think earth is like top 3, but I think earth will be like number 4, number 5. And then wind is pretty good with the Ogi. You could really get away with that. And even if wind is a little bit slower than dark, I don't know for sure, but even if it is, piloting wind is so straightforward. Like you're just like Ogi looping and Ogi looping and Ogi looping. I would wager that circumvents maybe like 20-30 million damage per minute. So I mean, there's that as well. But I don't know. I think Dark is just in a weird spot where like we don't have like a great assassin unit, so we can't like burst stuff without a Resh. You kind of need a Resh to burst stuff because we don't have an assassin unit, so we gotta simulate having an assassin unit by making our units attack twice. So there's that, which makes your MC, a lot of these other elements, like your MC can be useful, especially like wind, right? Like nowadays, wind can be very useful with MC because of Raphael's weapon, right? Giving MC double strike and superior LA damage, boosted attack cap or whatever. And with Orologia being out now, I'm not starting it until later, but even with like Orologia being out, buffing the shit out of MC is like, unless you call it, because if you call it you get double strike, but if it's sub aura, I don't think you get the double strike. So even if you arrested and you gave yourself TA like with the Ogi and then you like autoed again, you'd have to call the summon, and I don't think you want to call the summon all the time, so that's something to keep in mind as well. It's just Dark doesn't really, it's just in a weird spot because you don't want to Ogi almost like ever. We're like a skill damage Ellie. That's why we're like skill damage and like a Resh. That's like what we do. And that's fine. It's just if they're gonna do shit like Indala, because I think that's what they were thinking as well. Like, oh, Dark likes skill damage, let's give them skill damage. It doesn't bode well. Like, it would have to be some like auto-activating type of thing, like with Orologia. But instead of just making everyone like hyper buff MC, make a character that can sustain themselves and function like on their own. And this is what Indala is trying to do, but she just doesn't do it well. But I think I've said enough. I think y'all get the idea. How do I do this outro? What do I want to talk about? So this video is gonna go up before I go to work, so in like 30 minutes. So at like 12:45 CST. I'm not editing any of this shit. Good luck. I'll go make a thumbnail. And go from there. But yeah, I will be making a video because I had people request me from the AJT's Discord to make like a Water Guild War guide type of thing, like what you kind of want and what to expect from Guild War. So you have like, you know, a few weeks to prepare. I will make that video when, I'm not exactly sure. Most likely January like 6th, 7th, 8th, because I'm off those days. But so yeah, expect that video coming next week. If not, maybe I'll make it sooner than that, because I've been kind of on the ball with videos recently. But yeah, please let me know what you want to see in regards to like Water Guild War. Whether you want to see like what type of like grids might you want to run, what type of characters should you have, or should you look out for? Because that grand ticket, oh, I should make a video on that grand ticket. True, I could do that. So let me know if you want to see like what characters you should grand ticket for Water Guild War, what characters should you spark in the upcoming Flash, or even like this current banner with like Folia and stuff. I could talk about all that. Just let me know what you want to see and like what you're curious about for Water Guild War. Let me know if you want me to stream my Water Guild War, because I'm probably going to try to top 100. If my boss gives me the time off, if she doesn't, then I'll just top 2K. Is what it is. But yeah, let me know what type of things you want to see in regards to that. If you didn't know, I have a second channel where I do K-pop album unboxings. I'm actually gonna go record a video for that like right after this, because I have my my Neon NA album is in the mail right now, so I'm gonna go pick that up. But yeah, I'm gonna go make that video too. And so I'll leave that channel in the description if you're curious about that. I also talk about things like life. If y'all are from AJT stream, y'all know I tell a bunch of like fucking life stories from there about like my exes and like just random shit that happens in my life. It's like an IRL channel. I'll just spin in this at. And so, you know, I'll link that in the description below. I've been uploading there pretty often recently. I plan to keep uploading there often. I don't usually do gameplay videos. Like, I could, like, maybe use Indala and, like, Fa Zero and, like, record it. I don't usually do that, but, I mean, maybe if I'm, like, bored enough, I'll, like, do that and, like, record it and upload it. But, yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. If there's anything I missed or anything you want to talk about, leave it in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter, x.com/akukuria. My Discord is akukuria. I mean, a lot of you guys are from AJT stream, so you probably see me in there. I have my own Discord. Maybe I'll make it public if like we get enough like traction or whatever. Who knows? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any more questions, again, leave it down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out this bitch. Peace.